In November of 2016, Pokemon released a game called Sun and Moon, and this is a really good opportunity for players of the game to learn about the language of Gematria. And we're going to start here by talking about Jewish Gematria. And you might be wondering why the alphabetic order here is different than what we're familiar with in English. And what's important to understand is that this cipher is based on the original Latin alphabetic order. Now in Latin, the letters J, the consonant V, and W were not added until later, and now those characters are part of the English language in different positions. And this is a cipher that's still observed to this day. The term total eclipse using that cipher sums to 130, and in numerology, zeros are dropped, so this really represents a 13. And 13 is one of the more significant numbers, obviously. You know, it's an unlucky number, but really this is a moon number, and this is because there are 12 or sometimes 13 lunar cycles in a calendar year. Now, also in this Jewish ordinal cipher, you'll see that the ampersand is included. This is in the 26th position here, and there's 27 letters overall. Sun and moon, when written this way, sums to 130. This Jewish ordinal cipher is used in coordinates with the English alphabet. And just to show you an example of that, so here's my website, the Gematrinator Calculator. And we're going to look at English ordinal. When you come to the site, you'll see the 4 base ciphers. English ordinal is just the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, all the way through Z as 26. And in this method, sun and moon, when we write out the word and like that, it sums to 130 here as well. So to understand the significance of this, we have to know about Anita Sideris. And Anita Sideris is the Greek word for the Metonic cycle. The Metonic cycle is a period of 19 years that equates to 235 synodic months. A synodic month is a lunar phase. So we get 235 full moons in 19 years. It's almost exact. It's down to just a couple of hours. So now we're going to look at plain Jewish Gematria, which you'll see here is the same as ordinal. However, the numbers are amplified. Instead of going to 11, you go to 20 and then increase by tens. And instead of going to 110, you go to 200 and increase by 100. Using this method, Anita Sideris equals 393. Now let me explain why 393 is such an interesting number. If we write it out, 393 sums to 1331. And there's only 2 other numbers that sum to this value in Jewish Gematria. Those are 133, like the first 3 digits of the word, and then of course 331, like the last 3 digits of this number. So this past year, we had a solar eclipse, a total solar eclipse that went from coast to coast here in the USA. That was on August 21st, 2017. There's a second total solar eclipse coming up in 2024 on the date April 8th. Now these 2 eclipses are 2,423 days apart. That's the 360th prime number. Of course, 360 degrees in a circle. And look what happens when we type out twin eclipses. It sums to 1331. And as it turns out, Pokemon was released in relation to both of these total solar eclipses. So first off, the release date was November 18th, 2016. Now as we saw, the Jewish Gematria of Anita Sideris is 393. And measuring to the date of the first total solar eclipse in 2017, it came out to 39 weeks and 3 days from the release of this game to the eclipse. So here we have the numbers of Anita Sideris right here. Now what if we measure to the second eclipse, the one that occurs in the year 2024? Well, now we find it's a span of 2,699 days. And 2,699 is the 393rd prime number. So none of this is a mistake, of course. And what I'm going to show you is that the name of these expansions that they continue to release after the game came out initially all have gematria that lines up with a total solar eclipse. So first, let's start out with the game Sun and Moon Guardians Rising. Sun and Moon Guardians Rising sums to 137 in single reduction. This is where each number in the alphabetic order is reduced once. And everything's going to be a single digit except for the letter S, because S is the 19th letter, and 1 plus 9 equals 10. So that's why there's tens in here. And in full reduction, these tens are ones. 137 is the ordinal gematria of total eclipse using the alphabetic order. 137. See how T is the 20th letter? It starts with 20 and goes on from there. The second game that came out was called Sun and Moon Burning Shadows. And for this one, we're going to look at a different cipher called ALW. This is the English Kabbalah, where every 11th letter in the language is used. And here, Sun and Moon Burning Shadows equals 227. The practice of gematria, coding numbers into words, originated in the Hebrew and Greek languages. Well, in Hebrew, total eclipse equals 227. The next expansion was called Sun and Moon Shining Legends. And this time, using the standard alphabetic order, we see that this sums to 257. And keep your eyes on the reverse alphabetic order. This is where Z is 1 all the way through A as 26. We just flip the alphabet backwards. Total solar eclipse equals 257. One more look at the reverse gematria of Sun and Moon Shining Legends reveals something else that's pretty interesting. Now, in numerology, zeros are dropped. So in reverse reduction, we have a 103, which is like 13, and in reverse ordinal, it's 310, like 31. 13, 31, just like the gematria of twin eclipses. There's one more expansion that just recently came out. This one was called Sun and Moon Crimson Invasion. And here, again, we're going to look at single reduction, where the S is worth 10. And here, Sun and Moon Crimson Invasion equals 134. This is the ordinal gematria of solar eclipse, 134. So I'll leave a link in the description to my blog below if you want to read up on this and a little bit more about video game numerology, which I have a category on. Not very extensive right now, but I will be working on this as time goes on. You're also free to check out things like news by the numbers, murder by numbers, all intended to teach the language of gematria. Thanks for watching and have a good one.